The dignity afforded to the president exists only because of the responsibilities of the office. Its honors and prestige are inseparable because human beings have brains wired to think symbolically and magically. Respect is owed to the office and earned by the man, if it is earned. Sometimes a man rises to the demands of the presidency. Coolidge, Truman, outmatching low expectations, but they had strong characters. The rise is not from some lowly status. Many presidents have come from humble childhoods. None have come from meaningless careers. Well, community organizer. We'll even grant that having been a lawyer is meaningful. There can be some integrity to it, ignoring the verbiage about professional ethics, and talking your way into some political office of responsibility is an achievement. Even being a backbencher of the Illinois Assembly, then poodle-groomed into the U.S. Senate, that is something. And Obama was a fantastic speech giver with a beautiful smile. Andrew Johnson was a catastrophe. He just never should have been vice president, albeit horrifically for only 6 weeks. Lincoln's great tragedy was not his assassination, but his choice of vice president. Although that was really a party decision, the convention, the custom, was a bit different in those days. Andrew Johnson, however, did not seek the office. Bad judgment made him accept it, as Lincoln's bad judgment accepted the Union Party's choice. People do seem to forget the actual reason the vice president job exists. Death. The oddity is Nixon's resignation. Ford, selected, was vice president for 9 months. Of the inappropriate vice presidents, Harris, S. Agnew, Spiro, A. Johnson, Andrew, they were and are superlatives. Spectacularly bad. Henry Wallace, one of FDR's vice presidents, was a Soviet-Stalin dupe-pawn. Henry Wallace. So never, never, never just balancing the ticket. Vice presidents are always political compromises, etc., and many were virtual non-entities, but thankfully history allowed most of them to remain obscure. I hope to God that will remain the case with Kamala Harris, just a blip in the history of high office, not a footnote, but a parenthetical. First self-identified woman, and of non-transparency in the office. Being, as I am, not woke but awake, I don't see how she is a woman of color. I know I'm too literal, and I don't want to offend or unforgivably trigger, but to my mind, color does not mean the same as race, whatever race means. She is the color of some tanned blonde on the beach, not a qualification for office. Also, not a qualification is whatever minority or majority of favored African DNA she might or does possess. It is African, right? Or not? People have been known to lie about it. It used to be called passing, except the other way. This is progress of a sort. And she's also South Asian, India. Do lefties care about South Asians? Whatever. Fair-mindedness and merit would be most preferred. You know what Harris said last year on this occasion of the State of the Onion address? Her next day spin for Biden's speech impediment was, I think that age is more than a chronological fact. She said she thinks, re Biden. She would mean, if her intention were to communicate meaning, that age is not more but less than a chronological fact. And think. I think that think is also not the right word given how vapid her statement is. Then again, in historical order as facts of chronology, she would say that she thinks that she means that life and marriage and gender and now age are more or less than biologico, culturico, psychologico, chronologico facts. Facts, nowadays, are not stubborn things. But back to it. Of all the men elected to the presidency, the most disgraceful would be Biden. Clinton was a disgrace, but he was not incompetent. LBJ was a disaster for the Constitution, but he was deeply effective, etc. But Biden. That's how he will be remembered. But Biden, an ass. last year, during his address, he actually argued, talked back to the audience. Undignified, unpresidential. This year, he poked around looking for a pin, I think it was, and then got the name wrong of a very recently murdered young woman by, as he phrased it, an illegal, which was the most truthful thing he said. But I have not been paying attention. Maybe that's what presidents are doing nowadays, using constitutionally required speeches to polarize the country and demonize opponents. I don't hate him. I'm embarrassed. It's shaming for the United States to have such a disgrace. I don't want to say it's shaming for America. America is like a dead mother, remembered, mourned, never in life actually the way you remember her, but precious. America. The United States is not a dream, American dream, but a great power of political reality, not, sadly, of realpolitik, which seeks to advance national goals, not bank accounts, egos, mass population transfers via open borders, etc. So, the little boy who cried wolf, Chicken Little, the ant and the grasshopper, the emperor's new clothes, etc. We did not pay sufficient attention to such tales as children, or rather, infantilized, we do not pay close enough attention. But come, you, come help me write a fable. The maggot and the praying mantis. The USA will be the maggot, feeding off the corpse of its former virtue. As for the mantis, just pick any international player. A scorpion would work as well. Decapitate us, strike us in our back, deposit eggs in our abdomen, whatever deadly arthropods do to their victims. A fable. Leave it in the comments. The Romans provide the model. We've had our Caesar Augustus, visionary. We've had our Tiberius, diligent. Next in line is, of course, Caligula. How to say it? Enjoying the power of high office. Decadence need not be only sexual. Incompetence is also corrupt. Sometimes a man rises to the challenge. So far, always a man, a self-identified man. But it is too late now, too far gone for Biden to rise, to wake up unwoke, as from a fever dream or a coma, with a changed spirit, but not with an Antichrist head wound. I'm not ready for the tribulation. Biden had brain surgery in 1988. It is generally supposed that his brain survived. I know that was unkind. Given the fact of Biden's self-identified gender, I mean self-identified chronological age, there's not a lot of time. And there's only the hope that our magical thinking can conjure up. Biden's State of the Onion address was just another shameful political hack campaign speech, not as mumbled as usual, probably because they found the right cocktail of performance enhancers and amphetamines, perhaps fetus blood.